Hi, I'm Nathan. I love to optimize health, mindset, dopamine stimulation, and utilize business systems to grow businesses fast. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Baws podcast, where we put together all the cool stuff and bring guests on board to talk about stuff that will help you grow your business, grow your mindset, and grow your health, but all with the end result of elevating your business. So today I've got Karita Beard with us, who is all about turning offline expertise into a profitable online business. So welcome to the show, Karita.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure. So tell us a little bit about your background, what you do, and how you can help people.
Okay, cool. I am from the UK originally. I've been in Australia for about 19 years now. So most of my career, prior to what I do now, was spent in corporate. So FMCG, global companies, and I worked in the marketing and brand side of things, so building brands. And then I went from client side to agency side, which was really my first taste of owning my own business. I co-owned a design agency, and essentially I got burnt out. I'd gone into a business that wasn't really aligned to who I was and what I wanted. My life priorities had changed. You know, I was older. I wasn't a single 30-year-old, child-free person anymore. Yet the business that I was in, I was working stupid hours and not seeing my family grow. And I kind of felt that I just wasn't doing what I really wanted to. It just didn't feel right. It was more than working long hours and feeling burnt out. It was the fact that I really loved people and people development and personal development and business and marketing. And I hadn't quite worked out at that point how I could combine all of these things that I loved into a business, into a service. And that's essentially what I wanted to do. And my business, I started it about 7 years ago, and it's evolved over time. But the last couple of years, I've been focused purely on working with essentially people like the old me, consultants that have gone into business, that have built their business, and it's not essentially exactly what it is that they thought it would be. And it kind of feels like they've swapped one job for another. And a lot of people that I work with have built their business through referrals and word of mouth, and marketing online and social media is a completely different beast for them. And they're not really sure how to navigate it and to put themselves out there. And so I help them to do that, essentially build a business from the inside out, one that's completely aligned to them, and then an offer that's simple, that they love to deliver, and get it to market.
So talking about the offers, that's a really big part of what I love to do when I'm starting a new business, and I'm a bit of an addict of business creation. So tell me more about your offering and what's involved in putting something together that really stands out.
Yeah. So a lot of people traditionally build bespoke offers for everyone that they work with. And so especially if they've come from kind of a traditional business and they've got the corporate mentality and headspace. And so they will trade, and I don't really like this term trading time for money, because we're all essentially to some degree trading time for money, but a lot of it's in person and it's very time consuming and there's commutes involved, and it's very traditional type of consulting. And so what I help people to do is to take that and to turn it into a business model that they can deliver online. And so it's kind of I call it the offer matrix, essentially, and it's a type of hybrid. You have one core offer that you can deliver according to proximity to you. So, for example, I've got my Boundless Blueprint, which I have one main offer from that. And then you can make different ways of delivering that. So, for example, you can do it, people could come in and they could work their way through my model and do it themselves. And that's all through online. They could work with me in a group, or they could work with me personally. And so that's essentially how it works. It's really based on the amount of input that you give personally, but overall it's one key framework, it's one key model, and you're delivering different aspects of that. And it kind of has this own ecosystem for itself, because if you think about the workshops that you may deliver or the sessions that you deliver for a client one-to-one, you can essentially take those workshops, and then all of your marketing and all of your content comes from that workshop. Mm-hmm. So where a lot of people say, oh, I get really stuck on what to say and you know, how I actually create content and a marketing campaign and all of this, you don't have to think about it, because you're only ever really talking about the things that you're working on and delivering for clients right now. And so everything's live, and that's really how the system behind it works.
So you're dealing with a lot of service providers, and then you're productizing the service. Is that kind of the concept?
But a lot of the time there's still a personal element to that. So a lot of the people that I work with and the type of clients that I attract are people that really are kind of, they roll their sleeves up and they get involved in people's businesses, right? But a lot of the time clients can't actually, either the budgetary constraints or time constraints or what have you, and people are evolving with the way that they learn. And so some people are quite happy just to take all of your trainings and your resources and to work through it at their own pace and do it themselves. Other people crave more of a community and being part of a collective, especially people who are in business on their own, knowing that they can actually jump on a session and kind of build friends and build a network. And that's what I love. I've got the zone. That's where people, that's my community, the zone, and people come in and you can see them building their own connections within that as well. And it becomes basically an outlet for them each week to come together. And then you've got others who just want a regular time each week where you are just purely focused on working with them. So I'm still, regardless of where someone comes in at, whether it's do it yourself in the group or whether I'm working with them personally, I'm still teaching the same stuff. There's no surprises. It's not like it's bespoke for everyone. It's just that people can choose where they come in at based on how much time they want with me, their budget, their actual calendar and what they have on. And so you can essentially choose.
And is that, so when you're taking people from offline to online,
yeah,
is it with the intent of getting more scalability, or is it with the intent of getting back a bit of lifestyle? Or
but this is the thing, a lot of people come to me because they can't scale. They don't have a model that enables them to scale. A lot of people have contracts that they're locked into, so 2-3 days a week. They're capped at the number of clients that they can actually work with. Sometimes they might be working with 2 clients for a set period of time. Then it kind of goes quiet, and then they'll get a load of people come in and they want different offerings and different services. Whereas this basically, the way that I operate enables them to streamline so that they are very clear on exactly what it is that they're delivering, what their model is, and then they have different ways of delivering that.
And so what sort of industries and jobs does this work well for?
Yeah, so it's consultants and business coaches who I really work with, but it doesn't actually matter on the industry as such. So I've had anything from an HR consultant to a construction consultant to a executive coach. So it works across different industries. For me, it's more about the type of person rather than the industry that they're in. So most people I work with are in I don't want to say the later stages of their career, but they've climbed the ladder. You know, they're successful people, they've earned their stripes, but they just want a simpler way of running their business, and that enables them to scale and to be able to deliver their services from anywhere, so that they can have that flexibility and freedom. Because a lot of the time people have a business that actually stops when they go on holiday, if they can take a holiday, you know.
Sure.
And so the way that I help people to build their business allows them to have that flexibility and freedom, so that they don't have to stop their business or, you know, pause payments or anything like that. Things just keep on rolling, and you can deliver your services online from anywhere.
That's very exciting when you wake up in the morning and there's a whole bunch of sales that have come through from somewhere, or leads that are generated. That's something that really excites me.
Yeah. Well, this is the model that I have set up as well. So the way in which we actually get your offer to market, and if you think about the customer journey that people go through, is allowing people to come into your world. Let them see what it's like to work with you. Allow them to build that emotional connection with you. And as AI gets stronger and we all become robots, you know, it's really important now to allow people to see you for you, because that's the thing that's going to really set you apart. I mean, you've only got to scroll through feeds now and see the AI comments. You know, I'm predominantly on LinkedIn, right? The AI comments in the feed that you see, and the posts that are written, and it's that human touch is being lost. And so when you actually gain, and this is what I love to see with clients, is they go from not being scared, afraid of putting themselves out there. You know, what are people going to think? What's my old boss going to think? You know, what are my old colleagues going to think? You know, and so they're protective. And I get that, because I had the same thing. But when you can actually start to just speak your truth, and that really does come from having your own framework. So when you take your IP and you have your own model and you know that it works, and this was the thing that changed my business overnight. The minute that I actually had my own model and method, you actually have something to talk about, and it's something you believe in and you fully back because it's yours. And a lot of people don't have that. And this is why, you know, they get caught in bespoke offerings, as I say, and they're doing different things with different people all the time. Now, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But having done that myself, it's much better when you just have one method and one model, and it's the stuff that really lights you up. You know, what do you really love to work on? If you're going to wake up in the morning and you're going to work with someone on something, what is it and why? And what are the underlying reasons behind that? You know, and so the first stage of working with anyone is about uncovering them first, getting really clear on who they are, what their passions are, what their purpose is, what's their why, their values, and we build your business around that, rather than do it the other way, which is, oh, well, what will people buy from me? And what would be the right niche for this? And how am I going to make more money out of this? When you actually build a business from self and it's fully energetically aligned with you, you're always going to be more passionate about it. You're always going to be more energized about it and have that motivation. And this is why I really believe, and this is where I went wrong in my old business. You know, I jumped into a business that wasn't aligned to me. It wasn't necessarily on the work that I love to do and the type of clients that I love to work with. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping people build this business from self. Once you've got that, the offer creation and validating your offer, and then, you know, putting some marketing behind it, that becomes much easier then. But if you don't get the foundations right first, you're always going to be on rocky territory. And this is why people say they don't know what to say in their content, because the foundations haven't been set first. When they're set, the rest of it becomes much, much easier.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, working with the right people and working in the right industries are pretty much the starting point. If you absolutely love what you do, it's not work anymore. It's just
Yeah.
like I could do this 24/7 and talk about it
Yeah.
25/7. So it's a whole bunch of fun then. And I mean, I do a lot with dopamine stimulation to stimulate dopamine and really enjoy business and scale businesses off the back of feeling great and dopamine stimulation. So, and that's exactly what you're talking about, is just, being in something you love and you're passionate about. It's pretty fundamental for success in a business to see through, to get you up in the morning and to bed late at night, because you're just so focused on what you're doing, right?
Yeah, and that's when business is really hard. When you've got that gut feeling, and right, you've got that gut feeling that something's not quite right, and it's not the way that you want it to be, right? And we don't want businesses that are like that. We want businesses that are fun, that we're excited about, and so many people are scared of making those moves and cutting out the stuff that really doesn't serve them.
Yeah.
And again, this is why we start from that point first. And it's not, you hear a lot online now about people burning their businesses down, and a lot of the time you don't have to burn it down at all. You just got to take the pieces out of the business that you absolutely love and just focus on doing them.
Totally. Yeah, I'd give you an example. We were in one of my food businesses, and we were doing restaurants, and I got to 3 restaurants and absolutely hated it.
Yeah.
Like with a passion. Thought I'd love it, and from the shiny artists on the outside, got rid of those, and and then just doubled down on everything, every other part of it. I've got 7 different parts of this business now that all generate income, and I love all those, and those have all absolutely flourished, and I've stopped losing a whole lot of cash from the stuff that I hated. And but so many people just are in that rut, aren't they? And they just stick in something they hate, a job that they hate, or a business that they hate, and or that they're not progressing in, and they just, why would you do that to you? We've only got one life, right? We've only got limited amount of time. Why wouldn't you maximize moving forwards?
And I think that's that bleeds into the types of clients and that you work with as well, being really clear on, because I'm not everyone's cup of tea. You're probably not everyone's cup of tea either, and that's okay. You are only supposed to be here to work with particular type of people. You don't have to work with everyone, and this is the challenge as well. And a lot of people that I work with have either been in corporate for a really long time, or they've built their business and had their consulting business for a long time, and they've kind of been people pleasers. They've been saying yes, and they've been taking people on board, and I get that. In the early stages I did the same, right? Because you want money coming in and you want a level of security and stuff, but when you stay in that space where you just say yes to people, you find yourself just being stretched. You're stretched in terms of your the mental capacity, in terms of the type of person that you're working with, and maybe they're not quite the right fit, in terms of the type of work that you're working on, and maybe it's not necessarily in your skill set. And even if it is in your skill set, if it's not the work that you love to do, then again it's going to feel like a grind.
Or people that you want, as you say, if you're around people or clients that are pulling you down and zapping your energy, it's amazing how much energy goes into just dealing with that negativity, isn't it? And it just totally stops you from growing to the good stuff.
100%. Because the work takes longer, and
more
this
painful.
And so when you just build and build your business around you, rather than your business, build your life around your business, when you do it the other way, and it's a different way of thinking. For many it's a different way of thinking, because it's not necessarily the standard way of doing things, but this is where you reduce your time, you maximize your energy, your profits will increase because you're more attractive to people.
Yeah.
You know, you look like you're having fun and you're enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah.
I always say it's something, you go into a coffee shop in the morning, right? And like sometimes you'll have someone that will serve you and you can see that they're just there. It's just a job.
Yeah.
And they're not engaged. They're not loving what they're doing. They're not having a lot of fun. You know, it's the same. But then when you have someone who's there and they're excited and they're serving you and, you know, they're engaged and you're having a conversation.
Contagious. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's how we want to be in our own businesses. It's just having that fun and that excitement.
Finding that fun. Being in an industry that you love, being around people that light you up and that you can bounce off, and also talk about the health and the mindset side of things, setting yourself up for success with starting the day with, you know, I love cold. Well, I don't love it, but I do it every day, is go and jump into the ocean, you know, every day of the year. And that's just phenomenal for dopamine stimulation, just getting your mindset in the right place. And I've spoken to so many people who've sort of over the years who don't focus on the health, the nutrition, don't focus on the mindset, and they sort of poo-pooed it over the years. And it's really interesting when they come up to those challenging times in business, a lot of them just fall flat on their face. Or just cut and run, or it's quite interesting. So having that foundation is really essential, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's been one of the interesting sides, probably going a little bit off course here, but you know, 10 years ago, if you'd said to me about, you know, some of the things that I do now as a natural, you know, it's just a daily stuff that I do.
Awesome.
You know, going for a walk, you know, just having that silent time, journaling, like all of these little things that you do. Like every Friday I go to the gym most days, but on a Friday it's like I'll go to Pilates, and then I'll go in the spa and the sauna, right? And these things are really important now, because that's the stuff that makes you feel good. And when you're in a business that doesn't free you up that time to be able to do that, then you're so much less productive, and you're just busy for the sake of being busy, right? And we all only have 24 hours in a day, so let's maximize those hours that we do have, so that we can have, you know, the whole mind body connection and be able to tap into those things of us that is beyond work, you know, it's beyond family, and it, you know, coming back to you. And because when you're set up in that way, you know, I'm sure if you miss a few mornings down the beach, right, you're not a happy chappy.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? I missed one, and my wife says, "What's wrong with you today?" And I go, "No beach."
Yeah. So it's really, absolutely, these things are really important. But yeah, 10 years ago, all of that would have been put on an absolute back burner. I just wouldn't. No way. I was just like grinding away 60, 80 hours a week, weren't uncommon. And it's like, you just can't do that for a, you know, extended period of time.
I think we've learned, and everyone's developed. I mean, looking back into the 1980s, I just remember the average businessman had a huge stomach, right? And you could tell a businessman because of how fat and out of shape they were. Things have changed so much now. We have so much more understanding. I mean, there's still a lot of people out there who are doing it on stimulants, coffee, alcohol. They're pushing through just by pushing through, and then you know, God knows what's going to happen, the consequences of that down the track. But there's so much more awareness now around the health side and the mindset side that you just have to go to the gym and you see all these young kids who were, you know, on every night of the week, even Friday, Saturday nights, who are at the gym at all sorts of hours.
Yeah.
You know, these guys would never have been in the gym 10, 20 years ago. They would have been down the pub ruining their bodies. And now there's this massive shift of, you know, everyone's really taking care of their health and wanting the optimal outcomes, which is just awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what I wanted to ask you also about, Karita, was your LinkedIn. You're growing your LinkedIn account. You've got a few followers there now. What do you like to do on LinkedIn? How do you work on growth?
I've got a funny story. Like, it's funny. I find it funny. I don't actually, or I used to hate LinkedIn with a passion. Like, for me, it was just like this stiff, ego-driven platform, right? And everyone's just like, you know, peacocks on there. Look at me, right? And I hated it because I had left corporate for a reason, right? And I just found myself on this platform, and it's like, oh my God, everyone's just trying to outdo each other, and there were things in the comments and what have you. And I was like, I just don't want to get involved in this. And I was on there and I was posting, but I was keeping it very safe. I didn't want someone coming in, excuse me a second. I didn't want someone coming in and saying something bad, or, you know, the fear of looking stupid on there, all right, not knowing your shit is scary, right? That someone could do that. And it was happening a lot, and I'd see it a lot. And over time, I was on there and I was listening to what the gurus were saying and stuff. And about 2 years ago, I actually clocked up that I was on LinkedIn for about 7 hours a day, and I had been for a few months. And this was on top of serving clients, you know, doing all of the other stuff in my business. You know, I've got a family and what have you. It's like 7 hours a day. Like, this is ridiculous. I didn't go into business for this. Like, I love marketing, right? It's my jam. That's my background. But I didn't go into my business to be a full-time marketer. No way. And I just put a couple of very simple systems in my business, and it kind of just happened by default. So I went from going from 7 hours a day on there to literally half an hour maximum. And I saw that I was getting new people come in, people were signing up. You know, I'd go into my CRM system and I could see that people had opted in for things and what have you. And I was like, this is weird, because I spent so much time focused on it that nothing was happening, and then it suddenly was. And so now the way I work LinkedIn is very, very simple. I connect with people, I have a conversation, I have an optimized profile. So what I mean by that is using all of the elements on your LinkedIn profile is essentially a landing page, right? Someone comes in, they can see straight away at the headers, the call out where you are talking directly to your audience. Because traditionally people have always treated LinkedIn as a CV, you know, a resume for them. And when you're a small business owner, you really need to make it all about your client rather than you. So speaking directly to them. And the trick that a lot of people miss on LinkedIn is actually thinking about the next step that their dream client can actually take into going into their world. And so I connect with people, I converse,
Do you reach out to people? Is that what you're doing when you say you connect with people?
I just send a connection request. So I don't send a message with it or anything like that. I just send a connection request. When someone connects, I'll say hello, reassure them that I'm not going to invite them for a virtual coffee, because I hate virtual coffees.
Yes, I don't get that one.
And then we'll have a conversation and invite them, if they like, to a free workshop. So a lot of my business is centered around workshops. That's where, going back to energy, that's where I show up the best, is when I'm teaching and sharing with people. So literally they can go on to my profile. There's a free kind of training on there, 20-minute training, where I walk through my business model, how I actually built my business. And it's no opt-in. They just get to see me, and then if they want, they can take the next step, and then there's a step for them to opt in to something beyond that. This is a recent thing that I've changed, and it's purely because if people want to see you, they're going to find you, right? Whether it's they'll find you somewhere. So why not just make it easy? Because you can the way I used to do it was you'd have an opt-in and then people come in, then you're going to get people on your email list who essentially aren't that interested in you. They might not, they haven't even heard you speak. They don't really know what you do at that point and what have you. And I would rather just get that out of the way first and let someone see what I'm about, potentially how I can help, and for it to be no barriers there. So my whole thing's about becoming a boundless consultant. So I don't want to put unnecessary boundaries in place there. People who are serious will take the next step. If they think I can help them, they're naturally going to take the next step, so that you then end up in a situation where you've got quality leads rather than a load of leads. So when people say, oh, you know, get 5, 10, 20 leads, you know, you could get 25 leads a week easy, but are they quality leads?
Sure.
And what you really want are the people that get you and get your vibe.
Do you target a certain amount of connection requests a day or a week, or do you just do it as ad hoc as you feel?
No, just as many as you can, as you're allowed.
The limit, yeah.
And I really only connect with consultants and business coaches.
Yeah, cool. And you mentioned you do a little, what do you call it? Like a weekly connect where you'll have a community that you'll come together on. Is that right?
Yes, so part of my program. So my model, my method is the Boundless Blueprint, and essentially I help people to become boundless consultants, you know, online business that they can operate from anywhere. And where we learn is in the zone. And the zone essentially is, you know, really focused on building your business, you know, your zone of genius. It's where you are actually operating in your zone. And so there's a community in there, and every Thursday we meet for Power Hour. It's small, it's intimate. I'm not into, I came from big business. I came from managing teams, you know, I had over 100 team members. I don't want that. I just want a simple, nice business where I get to work with really great people. And so, yeah, I keep it very simple, small, intimate. I know each of my clients' businesses. We have a lot of fun in there. Yeah, it's just set up like that. So yeah, it's not this massive environment. I mean, people, maybe not you seem a bit more extroverted than maybe I am, but you know, like some of these communities you go into, these coaching communities, they're huge, right? And they're great, and I've been part of some of them in the past. But if you're more of the tendency kind of like you know, stay back and not speak, right, I really want an environment where people feel able to speak and to share and not be afraid to put their hand up, and it's not intimidating, and there are no egos, you know. It's really nice
environment. Yeah, cool. I'm actually building something very similar with one of our new businesses, which is I was just talking to you about it before we came online, but just for accounting and bookkeeping, because as I was saying before, I've always wanted an accountant that was involved in growth and never have had one. So I thought, let's build the blooming thing ourselves and do what I want, because I'm sure there'll be other business people out there who want their bookkeepers and accountants to do their numbers, but also give them a bit of direction. So that's something that I've built. And what we added to that was a free business growth community. So when they get their bookkeeping done with us, they, you know, will come into a weekly meet and we'll just talk about growth, how they can grow their business, all the different, you know, skill sets that our team have to help people grow their business. And so you got everything under the one roof. So yeah, I was just getting some ideas from you for that community as we're structuring it as we speak, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's fun. I think when someone asked me a few months ago, what's the one thing that you do in your business now that you can easily see yourself doing in 10 years from now?
Right.
And for me, so I've had this Thursday group, 9 o'clock every Thursday. I've had it for the last 3 years now.
Awesome.
And I just love it. Like, that's the one thing. If I was just to build my business around that one thing, that's what it would be.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it as well. So alone.
Good to enjoy it.
Yeah, totally. So, Karita, how do others get in touch with you? What's the best method?
Just through LinkedIn.
Through your favourite.
Yeah, just, I'm on there. I'm on all the channels, but predominantly on LinkedIn. I'm doing more YouTube now. Yeah, so it's easy to get hold of me.
Awesome, excellent. Well, we'll put your links in the show notes. But thank you so much for being on the show and sharing your inner wisdom of moving people from offline to online and all the things that it entails.
Thank you very much. It's been great to meet you and talk with you.
Excellent. Likewise. Take care.
That was awesome. Keep optimizing your health, mindset, and business. Be awesome and make business awesome.